Hey everybody, I'm Hans Haraldson. For those of you who don't know me, I've recently gone through some kind of crazy updates in life. Something I feel like I knew was gonna happen, but now it's actually happening, and it's kind of unbelievable. Um, it's a lot different than I think I would have expected this to be, and yeah, it's been interesting. Um, so back in 2014, while I was going to school at BYU, Idaho, um, there was a little booth set up in between one of my classes. Um, like, hey, we're Be the Match. Basically, you do this cheek swab, um, and we send it in. You'll be on this registry so that if somebody needs a bone marrow donation, or I guess bone marrow transplant, um, you potentially could match with them and have the opportunity to save their life. And if you know me, I do not like needles. Like, me and needles do not get along at all. But it's like somebody's life's on the line, right? So it's like, okay, we'll throw my hat in the ring, and I'm being told, the odds are really low that you match with somebody. You won't have to worry about it. And I'm thinking, I'm going to be one of the ones that gets matched. Well, fast forward to I guess it was October 30th was the first time. Got a text message on my phone saying, "Hey, this is so and so with Be the Match. Um, I've got some interesting, or no, what was it? I've got some exciting news for you and an update." And I'm looking at this text message thinking, first thought was, oh no, they found me. They've they've got somebody. But then after that, I kind of started thinking, like, maybe not. Maybe this is a scam. Somebody's a really good scammer. They've somehow got this information from Be the Match. They've hacked them somehow. You know what? Maybe this is a scam. I'm gonna play it off that way. If there really is somebody in need, they're gonna find another way to get a hold of me. So a little bit of terrible of me that way. I guess maybe before I get too much further in the story, I do want to clarify maybe some of my objectives with these videos. I want to respect patient confidentiality, things like that. Really recent and new in this process so far, so I don't have a lot of guidance or direction on this up to this point. But I want to make sure I'm respecting the privacy of really anybody that's been involved with this process with me so far. So I'll probably try to omit quite a bit of information surrounding the people that I'm interacting with and things like that. But I do really want to document my experience going through this process. Yeah, I want to document that experience, and I want to document my thoughts and reactions along the way as I'm going through this. So yeah, before we go on, I just wanted to make that little point clear. Also want to apologize. I have a little bit of a cold that I'm getting over still. Anyway, so text message comes in. I'm thinking maybe this is a scam. I'm gonna be just fine. No worries. Again, if it's a real, if this is real, then they'll find another way to get hold of me. 2 more days go by. Another text message. Hey, this is so and so. Again, we have some exciting news for you, and an update. And I'm thinking, either these guys, there's something tugging at my heart saying somebody potentially is in need here, and I'm still wanting to write it off as kind of a scam thing. And then I get a phone call from my wife, and she's like, "Hey, well, first, I guess maybe before the phone call, she shot me a text message, and she's like, 'Hey, something showed up in the mail for you.' And I'm like, 'Oh, jury duty?' And she's like, 'No.' And then it was like an instant phone call from her, and she's like, 'Those text messages you've been getting, they're real.' She's like, 'They overnighted a letter to our home saying that you have matched with somebody, and and then they're needing to get a hold of you. She's like, just think, because she knew that my fear with needles, like I was, I was not looking forward to this, right? Um, but she's like, just think, like, this is somebody you can help. It's right before Christmas time. It's right before Thanksgiving. You're gonna help them be there with their families. It's gonna be a really good opportunity for you. And I'm like, you're right, you're right. So I hurried and called the person that was texting me, and really really nice person. Could tell that they were from New York. Super super thick accent. Kind of endearing hearing their accent as they're trying to help me through this. Found out that they were a cancer survivor, and they were just extremely grateful that I was willing to, continue to go through this. I guess another piece of the story is, years prior to this, I'd get these little notifications from Be the Match saying, "Hey, are you still planning on being on a registry?" And again, my fear of needles, I'm like, I'm ready to take my name off the list, but no, I can't do that to somebody. So, check the box, yes, leave me on the registry. And yeah, so she's like, they said, we've seen that you've renewed all these other times, so thank you so much for doing that. They asked if I was still okay with being a donor, and they said, we have a little bit of information about the patient that you matched with, if you'd like that. They were able to tell me the gender, the age. They told me what condition they have that they're needing a bone marrow transplant for, though I couldn't tell you that if I even if I remembered his big long name that I didn't understand all the way. Anyways, she was able to give me that information, and then also mention, hey, there's this health questionnaire we'd like you to set up, or like you to complete for us, just to confirm if you really are a good match. Right now you're basically a potential donor. You've done this cheek swab where you've matched, but we would like to see if or do some more screenings to determine if that really is the case, if you really are as good of the match as we think you are. So I took down some more personal information, asked me a couple just general health questions over the phone, sent me the link to this health questionnaire. I was able to complete that the next day, and they let me know, hey, when I guess the next time we reach out to you, it'll be somebody trying to set up a blood draw. We're going to do a blood draw so that we can get some more information and know even further if you're as well of a match as we think, or good of a match as we think, and we're hoping for. One other thing that took place in the middle of all that is, they told me kind of the two different ways that you can go about extracting the bone marrow, and there's and kind of asked me, hey, what's your preference? One of them, I don't even remember the number of needles, but it's a whole lot of shots. Basically throws your bone marrow cells into hyperdrive. Your bones produce a lot more cells, so much that it spills over into the bloodstream is kind of how they described it. And then from there, they're able to do a blood draw and take the cells from there. The other option, they put you under anesthesia, and it sounded like they drill into the back of your hip bones. So, and I've heard before, actually the third person I've heard of going through this. I've heard from others that it's not the most pleasant experience for going through this donation process in the first place. And again, I have this ridiculously irrational fear of needles. So, as far as preference goes, I was like, I even told him, I was like, I don't like needles in general. But this is somebody's life we're talking about, so I'm really open to either way, whatever is most convenient for the donor, for the doctors, help this person best. We'll do that. So yeah, kind of wild. We'll see how that plays out potentially. Anyways, from there, actually the person on the phone was actually really sweet too. Talked about their cancer experience and being poked and prodded as many times as they were as a cancer survivor, I guess, going through chemo and things like that, and just really sweet that they were trying to kind of help ease that fear for me. Okay, so fast forward to I guess that next Friday. I want to say that was the 3rd, November 3rd. They were able to call me, say, hey, we're planning on setting that up, kind of where you're at. I'm like, hey, I'm in Idaho. They did some digging. They're like, doesn't look like we have any like currently established people there in Idaho for doing these blood draws. Let me do some digging to see if there's somebody that we can work with there, and we'll get back to you. A couple days later, the 6th, they got back to me and said, hey, we found this location. It's actually 15 minutes from where I'm from, and so we set it up for last Friday, which would have been I want to say the 10th. Yeah, November 10th. So yeah, we set it up. Everything was good there. The week was kind of going on. I'm, kind of trying to mentally prepare for a blood draw. The day before, I actually got sick. My wife had been sick with something a couple days before. I picked up whatever she had. And I called him. I was like, I was kind of worried. I'm like, this is going to mess up my blood draw. And so I shot him a text message saying, hey, blood draw's tomorrow. I did come down with this. Is that going to affect the blood draw at all? They were able to say, you should be all right. No worries. If there is any issues, let us know, but it shouldn't be an issue. So the next day rolled over. The blood draw actually happened to take place at a place where my sister-in-law works. My wife was sweet enough to come with me, help support me, and brought our son along with us. And my sister-in-law was great to take my son, kind of give him a little bit of a tour of her office space there at the hospital. And somebody was also kind enough to cater for them, and so she shared some of her mini churros with us, which was awesome. Thank you, sis. She took our son around. My wife came with me to kind of help me out. Finally went in to do the blood draw. The nurse was an extremely sweet lady, telling her about my fears. She's like, what do you need? I'm like, just, this is going to work better for me if I can sit down. Not even sit down, if I can lay down, and if you can do it that way. And she's like, that's going to be fine. Kind of something funny going through that experience, trying to do the blood draw. I've been watching Naruto Shippuden lately. And so I'm like, I'm just going to watch. I'm going to put on some Naruto Shippuden. I'm going to be watching that as I go through this blood draw. And that's going to help me get through. It's going to be fine. And spoiler alert, so if you haven't watched Naruto Shippuden yet and you're planning on it, or if I guess you're further behind than I am, I'm pretty early on in the series. Spoiler alert's coming up. But I'm at this point where Gaara has just been kidnapped, right? He's kidnapped by the bad dudes. They're basically sucking his life out, his soul out or something. Actually, they're trying to lure out the demon inside him that it's been sealed away in him. Use it to power up this other mega beast thing, right? And here I am, like, got my needle in my arm, getting this blood taken out of me, trying to watch this show, and I'm like, the music and everything else going on with these guys fighting these demons is not going well for me trying to fight my demons right now. This is not good. So I had to turn that off. I'm instantly pale white. My wife, who's like talking with the nurse, they're trying to talk and like help distract me. They're like, oh no, what's going on? And I'm like, I got to put on my study music now. So I put on the stuff that helped me get through like all of my, my bachelor's degree, my masters and whatnot, just trying to distract myself with something much more peaceful. Something a boring accountant would study to, right? That's the field I went to. Imagine the most vanilla music you can, and that's what I was listening to help me get through, and that worked a lot better. The blood donation went well. As far as I can tell, the nurse was nice enough to hook me up with some apple juice afterwards, which is always a plus for somebody who struggles with needles. And then the weekend hit. Everything was fine there. And the most recent update that I have actually came today. Man, this is kind of where it hit me in a lot of different ways. But I got an email today saying that, first of all, hey, we've received your blood donation, your blood work basically. Just wanted to confirm that for you. They're like, hey, just so you know, because we have this additional information from your blood work, that does increase the chances you get selected for this again in the future. And I'm like, oh no, okay, kind of accept that fact. But the other cool thing that was in that email was I said, hey, we have this Facebook group for individuals who have either been matched with a potential donor or who have gone through a bone marrow donation, and you're welcome to join it. Here's a certain password for you and to make sure you can get in. So I go and put this information. And, man, it was kind of humbling. There was one girl that had just posted just today, hey, I went through with my donation. And, she's there in the hospital bed. She's got this bag of what I can only assume is her blood, preparing for this transplant for somebody in need. And I scroll through a couple of these posts from these people, and I'm seeing these other people who have donated, and I'm just thinking how cool that I can be, potentially like one of these guys. I mean, granted, right now nothing is set in stone, right? It could be that something comes up in all of this process where they decide that I'm not the the match that they thought they would be. Things aren't going to work out with this, but to be counted at least potentially in the mix with these people who have gone through such a hard but also neat experience, just really humbling to be someone like them, willing to give them themselves like that. And then the other thought that hit me, and something I didn't realize, was there were way more posts on there than I thought of people who had either gone through their, they had gone through the whole process. They've been able to extract the cells that they needed in order to help their donors, and before the donor could even receive that transplant, the patient passed away. Or situations where one was a sister who's saying, I got to be the donor for my brother. I was thankfully a match for my brother, and he passed away before he was able to receive his donation. I was so surprised by the number of stories of these people who potentially had matches, and that their patients passed away before they ever even got the chance to go through the transplant. Or others who went through the transplant, and whatever illness that they had, whatever diseases they'd had, it still took enough of a toll on their body that it took their lives. And I was just sad to be. Anyways, I just man, it was just humbling. Life is short. We only have a a brief moment to do what we can to try and alleviate and help the people around us. And I'm just really fortunate that despite my irrational fear of needles, I have this opportunity to even just be a candidate right now. And I hope that more people join this registry, that we can get help to these patients. One thing they let me know in the beginning, I guess that initial call that I'd made with them, was that it can be anywhere between 2 to 6 months before you actually go through the transplant process, if you're even determined to be the right fit in the end. And you think about these people, their lives on the line. That seems like a long time, but that one girl who posted about her brother passing away, she talked about kind of the roller coaster ride that it is for family members, how much work that goes into it, things that I'm sure I don't even understand at this point, and I suppose from a patient perspective, things that I may never understand. There's a lot that goes into it, and kind of a long road. So really hoping and my process goes smoothly, and hoping that these patients that are in need get the help that they need in the most timely timetable possible. Anyways, that's kind of this new chapter that I'm entering into. Again, hope to document kind of my experiences going through this, reactions to things, timelines, things like that, in case there's others out there that maybe have a similar experience to the one I am, and also really just hope that this helps encourage somebody else to add their names to the registry. We can find people who can be matches and be helps to the people that are in need. Maybe if cost, one other thing that popping in my mind, if cost feels like an issue or like a reason why somebody might not want to join Be the Match, get their name on this registry. Be the Match covers everything. So like when I went and did my blood draw, they let me know ahead of time. They said, hey, Be the Match covers all costs. If they ask for your insurance, don't worry about giving it to them. Just let them know that Be the Match is taking care of everything. They said if you do end up matching with somebody and we're not able to perform the procedure in your location, just know we'll pay for travel expenses to get you wherever you need to be, paying for the whole procedure. You plus another person that can kind of help take care of you. Depending on which of the two methods that they use to extract the bone marrow. Or I guess to extract those cells, depending on which procedure they use, you're kind of needing a little bit of extra care, just because it can be kind of a painful process. I know, like for the one where they drill into your hips, they said I think it's like 5 days. You're not supposed to do any like rigorous work or heavy lifting or things like that. So somebody just really to take care of you in the meantime, as you're going through this process. So if you feel like that's a concern, know that that's not something that you should have to worry about. Just know that is covered. Anyways, that's kind of my new life update. Really excited and curious to see how this all plays out. Really wish, this person that I've matched with, I don't know their name. I don't know where they live. I don't know anything about them other than age, gender, and again, I don't even remember what the name of the condition that they had was, because it was so long and crazy. So there's not a whole lot I know about them, but whoever you are out there, I wish you well. I do wish you well, and man, I hope to be helping you out as soon as I can, doing the best of my part for the meantime, and you just hang strong, and hope to match with you soon. Thanks everybody. Bye.